topic with Mike and JD. I'm JD.
And I'm Mike.
And look, we're in person. No, I didn't get really good at green screen editing. We're just in person, talking to each other.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. I actually got really good at what I do. But no, so we're vaccinated, and we're hanging out, and we decided, hey, might as well film a podcast with nobody to watch. But, so today, we're going to be talking about, am I pointing to it? Okay, there we go. In the Heights.
In the Heights.
Yeah,
I had never, I don't want to say I'd never heard of the musical. I had obviously heard of it, but before the movie came out, I wasn't aware of.
Like you never listened to any songs.
I didn't know anything about like the concept.
Yeah.
What's it about? I mean, I assumed it was about something to do with the Washington Heights,
Yeah.
but
Now see, I'm the complete opposite. I saw it on Broadway, original cast, so I was on the Lin-Manuel train before it was popular.
you're a hipster,
Yeah.
a original fan. Yeah.
But yeah, no, seriously. So yeah, I saw it on Broadway. Absolutely loved the show. It was one of my dad always sees Broadway shows, even though he's just like, oh, it's okay. That one he actually really liked because, for those who don't know, my dad's Puerto Rican. He didn't grow up in the Heights, but he grew up in a very similar
Yeah.
He grew up in a very similar neighborhood in the city, so he related to that kind of community and stuff.
Right.
And stuff. So he loved it, and he also, the show itself is a very open show because it's diverse and it's different music than you normally see in a Broadway show because it's got some traditional songs like Latin music, rap.
Right.
So
I definitely get a very like West Side Story like vibe
yeah.
in the whole musical.
So yeah.
But I'm excited to talk to you about it because I came into the movie, after we just finished watching this movie last night.
Mm-hmm.
And so after you were talking about how, they changed this, they cut out this character, I really like this part, or they added this. And like, as someone who came in with no expectations, I didn't even know would it have a happy ending? Would it be a tragedy? I had literally no expectations.
Yeah.
So going
We're not going to talk about the ending just yet. We're going to give a spoiler warning before we get to that point.
Good.
But in general, yeah. Like I said, I knew the basic storyline. I was surprised about how much they changed. Majority of the changes, though, I didn't have a problem with.
Yeah.
There was some that I didn't necessarily have a problem with, but didn't quite agree with. Like they cut out in the movie. This is not really spoiled. Nina's mom is dead. In the show, she's a supporting character.
Right.
If I was directing it, I would not cut the character out. I do see though why it's a big ensemble piece. You want to cut down the cast a little bit, and see another thing. They definitely increased Vanessa's character, focus on Vanessa's character, and decrease the focus on Nina and Benny.
Right.
Which
actually, I mean, we'll get to it a little bit later, but I mean, that was one of the things that even before I knew that, was one of my only complaints about the film. Because spoiler, I generally liked the movie, so that's my gut feeling.
Yeah. See,
I liked it a lot.
Because in the show, Usnavi is still the main character, but he's the main character, but it's not so much as much his story. Yeah, he's the one who's on stage the most, but
he's our point of view character.
Exactly, he's the point of view character, but his story is not it's arguably the main, but what is arguable. In the movie, it's very clear, his story is the main story of the film.
Right, exactly.
Which in the Broadway show is debatable. It's clear the main character is, but who has the main storyline?
And I think that's like a tricky part of adaptation, but and again, I don't know if I would have necessarily gone, but from what you've said, it sounds more like the Broadway show is more of an anthology of different stories.
To a degree, yes.
They tried to make, the movie version more of a traditional story of it's a love story, there's two main characters, and the rest of people, the supporting cast is not as much of an ensemble as maybe a lot of Broadway shows are.
Yeah, and so as every musical to movie, some songs had to get cut. There was some songs I was disappointed were cut though. And one song.
What's your favorite song that you wish had gotten in there?
Well, see, I like Anina's Mom song Enough a lot, but that's obviously you had to cut that song out when you cut the character out.
Right.
I think what was really disappointing, Kevin Rosari, Nina's dad, had a song Onulte, which translates to useless. And he said, like, it gives a lot of insight into his character about how, like, he has some dialogue in the show that says some of the same things about him not wanting to fall into the same pattern his father did. But it, like, really hammers the point in how,
His motivation.
yeah, how he his father was holding him back, and he had this dream, and my daughter is gonna be even better than me.
Right.
Like that's like the whole once she was struggling in school, like that's how he felt useless. Like, how can I not help my daughter here?
Right.
Here, and I felt it was a very dramatic song. It was probably like the most serious song in the whole show, which I like that. Like, most of these songs are uplifting songs, but here's this emotional ballad.
Right.
And I don't know, like Jimmy Smith is a great actor. I'm not sure if they cut out because he didn't have the vocal chops. I don't know.
That was going to be my first question, is how vocally challenging was the song? Because Jimmy Smith's, I mean, he does sing background in some of the songs in the movie, but he's clearly not like a singer.
I mean, it's not like Impossible Dream or Les Miserables level hard, but I don't know music that well, so I'm not the first person to ask, how hard the song is to sing.
Gotcha.
But yes, that was something that disappointed me was cut. Then there was another song that it wasn't even that long of a song. But the problem is the way they changed the plot. Now I'm just warning, I'm gonna get into some spoilers now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but see, they changed a lot how the blackout played out.
Right.
Like, in the blackout, in the show, like Nina and Benny have a fight. They gave that dialogue instead to Navi and Vanessa, and then
So did it play out the same way of like where Nina and Benny were like dancing and like that whole thing? Did that play out the same way?
The whole build up to was different because, well, first of all, in the movie they changed it. They had a past relationship. In the show it's like, they clearly always had this like.
On the surface, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they had this chemistry that neither of them acted on, and when he got fired, essentially fired because
the company was closing down. Yeah.
He was initially mad at Nina, and so in the club song he's angry at her. But then in the movie during the blackout, he goes to the dispatch. In the show, him and Nina find each other, and then they end up spending the night together. And then there's sunrise where like it's like. Well, she's also teaching him some Spanish. That was another. It wasn't a main plot point, but it was a thing that was in the show that Benny does. Despite living in the Heights, he's not Spanish. He doesn't know much Spanish. So it was a minor plot point, him learning Spanish, and so she's teaching him Spanish. But then like they talk about what is our relationship. It's a nice thing, and that was something in general they didn't go into much detail about how Benny. Benny was kind of an outsider. They didn't really address that in the movie as much. Like Kevin wasn't exactly thrilled with their relationship because, like, it was. I mean, I think it was the main thing. It was his daughter, but like, there was definitely some. He's not Spanish. Like, undertones to it. Like, I wouldn't want to say he's racist in the show because it's not like to that degree, but it was just like. Yeah, he was definitely. Benny was much more of an outsider in the show. Like, even though he'd been there his whole life.
Right.
Like, there was like something. I'm not Spanish. I don't speak Spanish like everybody else in this town does, and that was something that didn't play out at all in the movie. Like,
right, I definitely did not get that vibe at all. He actually seemed almost more on the inside than Usnavi did in the movie to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, like I said, it definitely, that was something, like I said, when they reduced the size of his character, it was definitely something that left the cutting room floor. But there was something they added that I liked. Like, Sonny, I mean, he was a hilarious character, so they gave him though a bit more depth to him. Because like you don't really know anything about. They don't talk about his time at all. And this one, like you only see as far as one scene, but that one scene, you can tell like, oh, this guy's an alcoholic who just does not care at all about this kid.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that one that gives a lot that to his character, but then you also find out, oh, he's undocumented,
Right.
which also gives a lot of depth to the character. Which, like I said, see, he's funny. He was one of my favorite character shows, but he didn't have that big depth that he did.
Right.
And the other thing about the show, the actor who played Robert De Jesus was amazing, but he was also in his early 20s. I don't know how old the character was supposed to be, but I didn't look at it as like a teenager. So yeah, so seeing him being played by an actual teenager who looks like a teenager, like it did hammer home the fact that how young this guy is you know, he's working, he's protesting, like, you know, it helped drive the character more. Though I am upset they cut out my favorite line by his, when he's upset about Usnavi leaving, he goes, Bert would never leave early. Night Ride would be nothing without Kit. He would have to ride the bus. It's like
It's a great line.
yeah. But yeah, and they also really changed Usnavi's like motivation. Like in the show, going to the Dominican Republic is a dream of his,
Right.
but he doesn't have like a set goal. Like, oh, here's how I'm gonna get there. Like the whole I'm gonna reopen my dad's bar. That's new. Like he doesn't even think he's gonna go. Well, he doesn't ever think they change. Well, Claudia winning the lottery in the show, you find out in the next song after 96,000. That's when she sings her Paciencia Fe song. And the other song is like, oh, what do I do with this winning ticket? And then she eventually agrees, oh, she talks to the staff, we're gonna split it 3 ways, me, you, and Sonny. And then Usnavi like, okay, and then Usnavi and Claudia, we're gonna go to the Dominican Republic together. And she died, but he's like, oh, I'm still gonna go until the end.
Right.
But yeah, so this one he has that whole like, he's already planning on it without the 96,000.
Gotcha. Interesting. I think I actually would have liked that better. I thought it was odd, the whole like my father's like cabana shop type setup. I thought that was an interesting inclusion because, you know, comparing it to my favorite musical, Newsies, right? Like Cowboy wants to go to Santa Fe, but he doesn't really have any specific goal.
Yeah, it's very similar like that in Heights.
You don't feel that bad, you know, like spoilers for Newsies, like with Cowboy in the same vein decides, oh no, my family's here, my life is here, like my pipe dream of Santa Fe is not as important as what I actually have.
Yeah.
But in the movie of In the Heights, when he has a specific, like, I inherited this property.
Well, no, he didn't inherit it. He wanted to buy it back. That was the thing.
Okay, well, either way,
it was his father's
legacy. His father's legacy, and he wanted to buy it back. So even though, like, you still are happy in the end when he decides to stay with the people in Washington Heights, you do feel that little bit like, oh, well, he didn't, like, do anything with his father's place.
Yeah. Well, one thing I actually like how they did, like the whole framing setup where you think he's in the Dominican Republic. Like the second I saw that in the first trailer, I'm like, wait, what? The whole thing is that he doesn't go. Like it's funny because like I should have known he doesn't go in the end, but with the movie, I'm like, it was really like, wait, are they gonna change the ending? I was like all set to be so upset, like you changed the ending, you ruined it.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, it was very like some people might find it corny. I thought it so sweet how after he painted the place, this was my
island
all along. I found that so sweet. Though I was very upset his daughter was not named Claudia.
Oh, his daughter's named Claudia, and then
No, she's not in the other show. He doesn't even have a daughter in the other show. I'm just saying, in general, his daughter should have just been named Claudia. Like
I forgot what her name was.
It was like Iris.
Oh, Iris, yeah.
Which name it. I mean, unless that's his real life daughter's name, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Len's real life daughter's name, maybe, I don't know, but I just think it would have been
so. It would have been a better tip of the hat.
Too. Yeah. Oh, it's Claudia. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of tips of the hat, I did love the couple of Hamilton nods. I loved like
Oh yeah, I didn't even pick up on the first one.
Yeah, the hold music
The
is
da, da, da.
it's "I'll Be Back" from Hamilton, and obviously I loved purposefully sharing a lot of the cast. I think I loved the Piragua Mr. Softy rivalry quite a lot.
Which from the second they announced this film, it was clear that Len unfortunately was going to be too old to be Usnavi, and I said from the start he needs to play Piragua guy because it can be played by somebody of any age. He could do it very well. And I was actually watching an interview by him, and he was saying the way he was basically play the part they were going to. Well, first they were something hidden. Hey, we haven't casted this yet. We haven't casted it yet. But when that didn't work, they're like, I think we're gonna have to cut out Piragua guy. It's like he didn't want that to happen. Like, well, there is one way we won't come out. You play him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's some funny thing because I was reading between conversations of Lynn and the scriptwriter, of the original book of the show. When he first sent her Piragua guy's song, without even looking at the song, she's like, really? This guy gets the song? And Lynn's just like, I was procrastinating by Nina's song. But then when she heard a while ago, he sent her a demo, or she just looked at it, whether she saw what the song was, she's like, he has a story to tell, it was much more apparent in the musical. That was one of my biggest, I won't want to say complaints, because I absolutely love the movie, but one thing the show did better was that this is not one person's story, this is everybody's story. That's why even this character, who doesn't even have a name, he gets a song too, though.
Right, exactly. And I think I would have actually preferred if they kept it more of an anthology rather than focusing.
Well, I wouldn't so much say anthology, but it's more ensemble, though.
Yeah.
They definitely did not keep as much of an ensemble piece.
Right, and I don't know how it is in the show, but my biggest thing was I wanted more from Benny and Nina. With Nina, the whole setup, I felt like her journey, struggling through college and trying to figure out, I have no community up there, but everyone has these expectations for me. As somebody who struggled in college, that super resonated with me, and I wanted to hear more about Nina's story. But then it's sort of at the end, after the blackout, it was just they got together, and they just are going to figure it out. So I just felt like she was kind of sidelined to focus on Vanessa, who, while I liked her struggling artist kind of persona, and I didn't feel like that was as strong of a thing as Nina's whole legacy.
So Nina, she had struggle in college because she had to work jobs to pay tuition, so she was struggling to pay and work. She didn't have the same, I'm an outsider issue though. But her issue was she was working too hard, and she was mad when her dad's sold the company. But then her plot line in the show was her realizing basically it's okay to take help. Your father wants to sacrifice this for you. Don't feel bad about it.
Right.
They changed that. I have to deal with racism, which that was a change that if you were going to do, I feel like they should have explored it more.
Right. It seemed that felt a little shoehorned in, the scene where she kind of breaks down and says that she was searched when her roommate lost the pearl necklace. I felt like while that was an important idea, I felt like it was just sort of there. It was just we're not going to explore this. And I feel like like you said, if they were going to introduce that, it would have been nice if they could maybe have explored it a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Or made it more about that.
Exactly. Yeah, the way she is explored a bit more her opposite part. Well, not opposite, her different part of the show, and I felt there was more resolve in the show. This is what they mentioned it, and she's like, I'll just
deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah, she did have the nice moment with Sonny where she's like, I need to fight for people like him. I'm like, and I did like how when Kevin's like, this is the moment
where you become better than me.
Exactly. That was a great moment.
Nice
that was a great moment, but they could have used more.
Yeah.
More of that. I'm an outsider there.
To me, I just wanted a whole movie about Kevin, Nina, and Benny because that trio of characters. Not that I didn't like Usnavi. Obviously, I loved all the music. I loved his story with the
and Anthony Ramos.
Yeah, amazing. But just in terms of me being interested in the characters themselves, which was really, this felt like a character-driven movie. Like,
Yeah.
almost nothing happened. Like, there's a blackout, and the Abuelita passes away,
Yeah.
but like, other than that, there's almost no conflict in the story. I mean, everyone. There's no overarching.
Yeah, no,
There's no villain.
Yeah, your wife,
There's
Kim, she said, "Oh, I thought this guy was villain. I thought this guy was villain." So I'm like, no.
Yeah, there's no villain. Gentrification is the villain. Yeah.
Gentrification, society, but see, that's the thing. A lot of people forget that. There's so many movies, like they're considered like three main conflicts in movies: man versus nature, man versus man, man versus self.
Yeah.
But so many movies nowadays focus on man versus man.
Right.
Man, oh wait, I forgot. No, there's four: man versus society.
Yeah.
And that's what this one is. This is man versus society, basically.
Yeah.
But but see, people forget that there doesn't need to be a villain to be a good piece. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves a good villain, but you just don't need it.
Right. And there wasn't even like. Sometimes there's not a villain, but there's like an overarching problem that creates the main conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I almost didn't feel like there was an inciting event because it was like nothing, blackout. And it was sort of just like everyone had these problems that were bubbling under the surface that they weren't talking about.
Yeah.
And then the blackout happened and it sort of forced everyone together to deal with their problems.
Yes.
But there was no inciting event, no rising action type of. It wasn't a very traditional story in that sense.
Well, see, in that in the Broadway show, the Bella winning the lottery is more of a moment like that because like I said, it's almost treated as like an afterthought in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were gonna cut it out, which I had mixed feelings about. Like, that was a point, but I guess, you want to show that there's no, easy answers or something?
That was the only part of the movie I did feel like, not was a cop-out, but it felt like a little bit of a cheat because, like, the movie was so grounded in reality. It felt very real, like, the stories, the characters, like, everyone was very, like, down-to-earth and relatable. I was like, okay, I see every person, and everyone knows a Nina. Everyone knows like someone like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the winning the lottery. I mean, I was glad it wasn't like $2 million.
No, it was 96,000. Not enough to retire.
They picked a good number.
Like, yeah, because that's life-changing money, but not. I'm
set
done
for
here.
life. Yeah, exactly. So that was good, but it still was a little bit like, there's a winning lottery ticket. Okay, like a little bit.
Yeah, and then
I was glad. My fear with that originally was I was worried that they lost the winning lottery ticket because
that would be too cheesy.
There's a whole scene where they're like, who won, and you said in the show you find out immediately it was
well, I mean they still do the who. Like, the 96G still big, 96,000 still the huge song. It was just the next song. So you do somebody won this, what are they going to do with it? But then it's like, okay, what do I do with this winning lottery ticket?
But in the movie, like, you don't find out till the very last scene who won. And so
and it's also kind of weird that she won the lottery.
And didn't say anything.
And also, like, it was...
After playing lottery every day of her life, she wins and doesn't say anything.
Well, see, that's supposed to be what the whole point of Passion Fate. What do you do when your dreams come true? She's so shocked, but we didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see her reaction to winning.
And I think that took away a little bit from the scene where she dies.
Yeah.
She has this sort of dream sequence.
Yeah, which again in the show that's not her death song. That's her. I won the lottery. My dreams come true. But what do I do?
Right.
She's so lost.
That's why I was so confused, and Kim was as well. It sounds like she's like, wow, all my dreams came true. I finally did it, and then she walks into the light and dies, and it was like, wait, what was your dream to die?
That song didn't really,
I didn't understand why that song. I loved the song.
The song is amazing, but it works so much better in the show when it's like.
I love the visuals. This was the one time where I thought that the surrealism kind of really worked in the film because there were some moments with when
they just randomly walk up the wall.
Yeah, there was a bit of the surrealism. I was like, I don't know if it really vibes with the rest of the movie, but that was one instance where she's having her death song.
But I didn't like that as a death.
Well, I didn't like the lyrics. The lyrics didn't match with what was happening.
Well, yeah, it didn't work as a death song. Because it was supposed to be that. She played Lil Lottery just as a joke on, like, as a hobby, I guess is a better
Yeah.
way to put it.
Yeah.
And then,
Just to keep like the hope alive.
exactly,
conceptually.
yeah. But it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, a dog chasing the car, now the dog
Yeah.
caught the car.
Doesn't know what to do.
Exactly. What did I say that from, The Dark Knight?
Yeah, no.
That's what okay, but I was so happy that they kept Olga Meredith, who played the whole entire Broadway run as Abuela. But yeah, the other thing that bothered me is like, Ustavi found it last second by chance. Like, it almost makes her seem almost selfish that she just, like, by just leaving the ticket there, like even if she didn't want the money for herself, she could have donated to like that's a selfish thing to do almost. It's like $96,000 sit there, like
It wasn't clear that this was like, oh, this is for the community or
yeah,
anything
like I said, like if
it almost
just
was
can't-
like, you know,
oh yeah, I want 96,000. I'm just gonna let it go in the trash.
I-
'Cause it came very close to being nothing.
I think the implication was like she was like an inheritance to Usnavi, but it wasn't clear.
Yeah, because the way he found it last second.
Yeah,
he could have
already
easily
packed
not
up.
found it.
Yeah.
And
And again, nobody knew that she won.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me.
exactly, and it's like.
And also, it doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't stop like asking and looking for like.
Well, that doesn't make sense because they figure there is a big community, so it's like somebody wanted probably left town.
Well, but like, don't they have to cash it? Do they not have to cash it in at the place they bought it?
No,
Oh.
Ustavi closed the place,
Yeah.
and he's not gonna have 96 G. That
Well, no, he's not gonna.
you especially you gotta go to like if you win like $20 on the lotto, you cash it in right there. If you win, I don't know what I think there's like actual a
There's a
specific
threshold, yeah.
a specific number where oh no you gotta go to one of these places to get the money. But yeah. So that,
But yeah, overall, like I said, I loved the movie.
oh, great movie overall.
Great visuals, great dance sequences,
And the music worked.
you know, yeah,
Like it was definitely a great translation into film. Like
definitely. Like I definitely feel like I got the experience of seeing it in the
Yeah.
Heights, even though there were some changes.
yeah, there was some changes. Some I didn't like, but you know, I mean honestly, it's easier to talk about what I didn't like than what I did like because because otherwise I'm just telling you everything that happens in the movie because I like 90% of
Yeah,
the movie.
it's
It's much easier to focus on the 10% I didn't like.
It sounds like you're nitpicking, but that's only because it's like you already loved the show and you already loved everything in
Yeah.
the movie that was the show.
See, that's-
so
it's-
you're just
It's funny, like it's always easier to focus. Like if I hate a movie, it's easier for me to focus on. Oh, well, here's a few things I liked about it.
right.
And when I love a movie, it's oh, well, here's a few things I didn't like because
Right, because you're like, literally everything that I don't mention, I love.
exactly, pretty much, like it's like, but it's like I can't tell you. Oh, I like with this part. I'm just basically telling you everything about the movie.
Yeah. Although, do stay for the post credits, because there is a post credit scene which we originally missed.
He's like, I was watching the
turned it on-
credits, and he was like, oh, there's not gonna be a post credit scene.
I was making a joke because I'm like, oh, this isn't Marvel, like, there's no post credit scene. Turn it off. Find out, like, yeah, an hour later, oh, there was a post credit
Yeah.
scene. And it was actually really good. You know, Kim told me it was a joke. I thought it would be like a throwaway gag, but it actually was like a
Right.
little reprise of the Paragua song.
Which is from the Broadway show. And was something I was thinking to myself, they cut out his replies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a great movie. We watched it together on HBO Max. I'm definitely gonna go again
Yeah,
in
I'm
theaters.
gonna
to
try
see
and
it.
go see it again in theaters because it was really good.
It was amazing. Highly recommend. And
Yeah,
that was it.
that's it.
Well, I'm JD.
And I'm Mike.
And we're in person and we're saying goodbye.
Bye.